Education about the dangers of impaired driving continues to increase, but the problem has not been solved just yet. Joining me today to discuss this is Sann, the Vice President of the Lethbridge and Area Chapter of MADD, which of course stands for Mothers Against Drunk Driving. Welcome to Bridge City News, Sann. So great to have you on today.
Thank you, Jeanette.
I was going to say, maybe you can first of all maybe explain what the focus of your organization is. What kinds of services do you offer here in Southern Alberta? I think most of us have heard of MADD. You said that you weren't even familiar with them up until a couple years ago when you found out a little bit more and you kind of were hooked on it.
Yes. So again, at MAD, our focus is to basically support the victim of this violent crime and to stop impaired driving. Now, how do we do it? We basically accomplish this by offering our support system to the people who are impacted by impaired driving, right? Again, 2 years ago, I was not aware of this because a system like this did not exist in my home country. But when luckily I came across, I have dedicated my volunteer hours to do the right thing and create the awareness, right? Now, MAD, like again, on online support group, we have a variety and of option and a lot of diversity to help support the victims who are impacted by impaired driving. In Alberta South, actually, we are lucky and fortunate to have a trained victim support volunteer who is able to provide in-person court support and is like she works in liaison with public prosecutor to help guide the family to navigate around our court system. And even like again, we provide all the support, and even the case is completed, we still stay in touch. That does not finish our work. We are still in continuous touch. And we offer this support system to those people as long as they wish to access it. Now, a lot of us might think like, hey, it does not impact a lot of us. And let me tell you, like few years ago, we established Alberta Memorial Monument to basically pay a tribute to people who have been killed by impaired drivers. Currently, it's etched with names of 61 people who have been killed in impaired driving. And we know that is a very small fraction of victims in our province. We also create awareness through our school programs for youth. This is where we come out, we kind of teach them, we create awareness through education about the dangers of impaired driving and the consequences, right? And this is suitable for grade 7 to 12. So we basically want to build a foundation of safe and sober driving at that young age before they enter adulthood. We also work with businesses. We do presentations of them. So basically, any business that want our chapter to come out and do a presentation for them, we would happily show them what the services we offer and the support system that we have. And in a way, we are very fortunate to partner with our local law enforcement, especially during the holidays, but throughout the year with our checks stop program, which you might have at times heard that we do with Lethbridge Police Services. Right. So yeah, basically we are trying to create that awareness in our society. And as I said earlier, like even if we can prevent one death, that is a mission accomplished.
Absolutely. And then it has such a ripple effect as well, because one person that was affected, I mean, they have an entire family and loved ones around them. And like you said, going into the schools, I'm pretty sure that's where I first heard about MADD when I was back in grade school with those presentations. But I didn't know that they also follow through with the victims' families and help them through the court system in just those very, very challenging times. That's absolutely amazing. Now, Sann, if we've never personally been victims of impaired driving, it may be difficult to fully understand that impact that something like that could have on someone and also on the lives of their family. So maybe share a bit about that, because we were talking about that ripple effect.
Yes. So a lot of time, yes, we as a human being, we have that tendency. If it's not my, I have never felt it. It's not my problem. I don't see it happening a lot. And as I said, like that Alberta Memorial Monument that we established just a couple of years ago and has 61 names to it, right? So that tells us all of us are impacted one way or other with this violent crime, right? Where people are doing impaired driving. For me personally, as I said, 12 years ago, I lost my dad in a violent crash. To this date, I don't know if the driver on the other side was impaired or he was careless or anything. He just fled the scene and never to be caught. But what I meant to say is like when I came to know about this organization 2 years ago, I was thrilled because as a victim, 12 years ago, this would mean a lot. Like we were already going through the worst time of our lives, and we did not know where to go, how to get things done. And this is where, when I knew like there is something like this in Canada, I was like really excited that I want to make that difference. I want to educate people like this is not right. We can stop it. And as I said, like for me, the agenda that I have, if I can make one person do the right thing, I think the time is well spent.
Absolutely. Nobody should have to go through that. And I'm so sorry for you and for the rest of your
It was
family
the
that you
same.
did.
Thank you.
That's absolutely terrible. But San, how many people are killed or injured annually from impaired drivers? Do you have any statistics there?
So, in terms of stat, again, hundreds of people are killed and thousands are injured in crashes that involve alcohol, cannabis, or other drugs. Like in 2019, 87,000 federal charges and provincial license suspensions were issued. If you do the average, that's like 10 every single hour. And let me tell you something that I keep on saying is even one death is too many, especially when we know that it was 100% preventable if we did the right thing.
Oh, absolutely. Now, you did a survey recently which showed that young males continue to have a higher than average rates of driving after consuming alcohol or cannabis or other drugs. So, what needs to happen to change this?
So with that one, you're right. Actually, impaired driving happens across all age group, and you'll be surprised seeing the numbers. But yes, over like consistently, if we see a age group, the young males 18 to 34 are more vulnerable because um, they are doing the impaired driving, and while they are aware of it, and that is definitely a huge concern. And this is where I honestly think the best thing is still going through awareness, education system, and talking to these young people because the things are changing every day. And if we can talk to these people in the way they understand, and it kind of clicks or brings the light in their mind, like, oh, this is not right. I need to change, right? That would be the way. Like we need to motivate them to change the behavior. And this is where MADD Canada, one of the ways that MADD Canada is trying to address this concern is through our school program, which is again updated every year to include the impaired driving issues faced by teenagers. And we are going to school, educating these kids before they enter adulthood. So they have this, a foundation of safe, sober driving, and they're proud of it that they bring into their adulthood.
Okay. Now, that same survey also revealed that we still have some misperceptions about the seriousness of driving after consuming alcohol or cannabis. Can you share the findings?
And I was extremely surprised by that finding too. Like, to be honest, I was like, when I was reading it, I'm like, wow, that this is like new. Because again, this is where we are thinking with all the awareness and stuff, things are changing. So basically, what that survey did find is 3 in 10 Canadians believe there is a huge difference between driving after consuming alcohol versus driving after consuming cannabis, meaning they mistakenly perceived driving after consuming cannabis is not risky.
Wow.
And at the same time, 1 in 10 Canadian believe that driving after consuming alcohol, cannabis, or other drug is not that risky. And that's where, as I said, it's heartbreaking that after all that we have made the progress, and after all the educational programs and stuff, there is unfortunately still a lot of people who believe this misconception, and they go behind the wheel knowing that they are impaired. And a lot of people are still doing that, not only putting themselves at risk, but putting others at risk.
In Canada, overall, have impaired driving incidents decreased, or are we improving in any way in that department?
Um, again, if we just talk about the numbers of suspension. So in 2019, as I said, we had 87,000 federal charges and provincial license suspensions altogether, versus which is like definitely a little lower than 98,000 in 2010. So I personally think it's not a huge, significant increase. But if we look at the big picture, and I'm like professionally, I'm a planner, so I always say look at the big picture. When we look at the big picture, in the last 25 years, the number of these charges has significantly dropped. And this is because people are aware, and a lot of people are doing the right thing. They are keeping the driving and drinking or consuming alcohol or cannabis, they are keeping it separate. So this is where I think there is a lot that has happened and the progress has been made. But at the same time, our work, educating people, creating that awareness is not done. And this is why MADD Lethbridge and area is here to help.
Incredible. Okay, so one of the ways that you're trying to get the message across is Project Red Ribbon. Really quickly, because we're almost out of time. So what is this project and how can people participate?
So Project Red Ribbon, we are in our 35th anniversary, and it is one of our biggest fundraiser. So basically, Project Red Ribbon is where we ask people to do a small donation and to show solidarity and support a commitment that they are going to always drive sober, but also to pay respect and tribute to people who have lost their life with impaired driving, right? And basically, this red ribbon, you can put it on your vehicle, on your purse, wallet, briefcase, keychain to show that support. It's a small but very powerful. Symbol, right? And these days, again, a lot of these new vehicles do not have that wide antenna, so we use this. This is called a window cling, and it goes from inside the window to like on your car, right? So this is as I said, we are here to make that continuous support. And a lot of time, if you need a project like a red ribbon or something, you can connect with us with our website, social media platform like Facebook, Twitter. Uh, and Instagram. But on top, if you happen to go through one of our checks top, you can get one from our volunteer who will be out there helping Lethbridge Police Service this festive season.
Okay, well, you just mentioned the festive season, so of course we are upon the holiday season right now, and with lots of parties where there's going to be drinking. So if our viewers do end up at a party with alcohol, can you maybe remind all of us about planning ahead to prevent that impaired driving from happening?
Okay. And you're right, like Christmas is all about like getting together and stuff. So one thing I would suggest is always plan ahead, right? If you know you're going to drink or consume cannabis or anything else, I would suggest plan ahead, have a sober ride home, or have a taxi pre-booked. And as a guest, I would say make sure when you are letting your guest out and get behind the wheel that they are not impaired. If possible, again, a lot of time we have family and friends, so take their keys, keep it safe, and if possible, offer them a sober ride home or let them stay overnight.
Offer them a ride or offer them a place to stay to
Yeah,
lay
one
their
or the
weary
other.
heads. There you go. Thanks so much for your time today, Sann. Appreciate having you on.
No, thank you again, Jeanette. Thank you for having me and giving us a platform to put our word out there. So again, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and everybody drive safe. And I would say again, if possible, keep driving and drinking extremely separate.
Good advice. Thanks so much for all the education there. Sann Chaurasiya is the Vice President of the Lethbridge and Area Chapter of MADD, which is Mothers Against Drunk Driving.